Good day and welcome to Mayor King's TV News. I am Tiniela Emanuela. Now to begin the news, here are some of our top stories. Delta APC canvasses sole candidacy for Tinubu and Oborevwori ahead of 2027 re-elections. ASU rejects federal government's proposal and begins 2-week strike today. On the foreign scene, Trump says war is over in Gaza as he flies to Israel for release of hostages. On sports, Man United prepares to launch £60 million bid for FA Cup winner. Now the news in full. The Delta State chapter of the All Progressive Congress has passed a vote of confidence in President Bola Tinubu and Governor Sheriff Oborevwori of the state, endorsing both men as sole candidates for the presidential and gubernatorial elections in 2027. The endorsement was done during an APC stakeholders meeting on Sunday at the Government House Asaba, attended by top leaders of the party, serving and former national and state legislators, political appointees, local government chairmen, and party chairmen, as well as eminent political leaders across the 3 senatorial districts. The motion of confidence vote was moved by the Minister of Aviation and Aerospace Development, Festus Keyamo, SAN, and seconded by former Speaker of Delta State House of Assembly, Honorable Victor Oshi. While moving the motion, Keyamo praised President Tinubu's bold reforms and transformative leadership, citing the removal of fuel subsidy as a responsible policy decision that redirected billions into critical national infrastructure. He also commended Oborevwori for its visionary leadership and for the massive infrastructural development across Delta states. Seconding the motion, which was unanimously adopted, Victor Oshi hailed Tinubu and Oborevwori's inclusive governance and developmental impact across Nigeria and Delta states. In his remarks, Oborevwori expressed deep gratitude to the APC stakeholders for the confidence reposed in him and Tinubu, pledging to continue delivering on its development agenda for Delta states. Youths of the Robo Nation and Kokori community in Ethiopia East local government area of Delta State have erupted in jubilation following the release and presidential pardon of Niger Delta ex-agitator and self-acclaimed environmental activist, Kelvin Onira. Onira's freedom comes after 12 years of imprisonment and rehabilitation. Community leaders described the story as one of redemption and a reminder of the need for the Robo people to stand as one. Now a graduate of the National Open University of Nigeria, Onira is said to be fully rehabilitated and ready for reintegration into society. President of the Robo Progress Union, UPU, Youth Wing, Comrade Blessed Ugeri, described the pardon as worth celebrating, calling for wider acceptance of Oniri and recognition of his transformation. He added that the community's excitement over Oniri's return reflected a broader message of forgiveness and unity. Recalling how Oniri was arrested in September 2013 over alleged links to kidnapping and armed robbery before serving his sentence and undergoing rehabilitation. Ugeri further described Oniri as an environmentalist who resisted exploitation by oil thieves and impoverished his community, stressing that his efforts should be recognized rather than condemned. They further disclosed that the youth wing plans to redirect Oniri's energy towards positive community initiatives. The Delta State House of Assembly (DSHA) has set up an ad hoc committee to probe the recent recruitment exercise conducted by the Delta State University Delsu Abraka. The move followed a petition submitted to the Assembly by 2 citizens of the state on behalf of the concerned stakeholders of Delta State, alleging that the university's recruitment process by the Governing Council and management grossly violated the approval granted by the visitor to the university and Governor of Delta State, Honorable Sheriff Oborevwori. The petitioners claimed that the governing council and management employed over 400 persons, exceeding the approved number by more than 300. The presiding officer and Speaker of the House, Right Honorable Imamotimi Dennis Gowo, who announced the setting up of the ad hoc committee during plenary, named the Deputy Speaker, Right Honorable Otto Akpowowo, as the chairman, while the Clerk of the House, Barrister Otto Agogofia, is to serve as secretary, with other five as members. Right Honorable Gowo directed the committee to submit its findings and recommendations within the next 3 weeks. The Academic Staff Union of Universities on Monday, today, commenced a 2-week warning strike after the ultimatum issued to the federal government elapsed on Sunday. The announcement was made by the national president of the union, Professor Chris Biwana, at a press briefing at the University of Abuja on Sunday. The renewed standoff between ASU and the government comes amid ongoing negotiations aimed at averting another round of industrial unrest in public universities. Last Wednesday, the Minister of Education, Dr. Tunji Alosa, disclosed in Abuja that the government had entered the final phase of talks with ASU and other unions to resolve lingering disputes over welfare, funding, and the implementation of the 2009 ASU FGN agreement. Alosa noted that Tinubu administration had already made significant progress with the release of 50 billion naira for the payment of earned academic allowances, while another 150 billion naira had been captured in the 2025 budget for needs assessment to be disbursed in 3 tranches. In the meantime, the federal government on Sunday night threatened to invoke the no work, no pay policy on the Academic Staff Union of Universities, ASU. In a statement issued by Folashade Boriwo, the spokesperson of the Federal Ministry of Education, the ministry accused ASU of not being cooperative despite efforts by the government to avert the strike that was declared by the union. The statement, however, reassured Nigerian students, parents, and the general public that the federal government is firmly committed to maintaining industrial harmony in the tertiary education system. Now on entertainment. Reality TV star and entrepreneur Tasha has successfully completed a Guinness World Record attempt for the most makeovers in 24 hours, achieving 145 makeovers. The record-breaking event took place at the John Randall Center for Yoruba Culture and History in Lagos, with celebrities like Alex Unusual, Toke Makinwa, Ice Prince, and Special Advisor to the Lagos State Governor on Tourism, Idris Aregbe, in attendance. Despite facing technical issues, including a power outage, Tasha demonstrated remarkable resilience and speed, transforming 145 models with diverse skin tones and body types. Each model's transformation was documented with professional headshots and runway showcases as part of the Tasha Beauty Festival. Tasha, who became a household member after participating in Big Brother Naija Season 4, is now awaiting official confirmation from Guinness World Records, which will verify the attempt before declaring her an official record holder. Now on business news. Dangote Cement has officially launched its operations in Attingué, some 30 kilometers from Abidjan, Ivory Coast. According to a statement by the group on Sunday, the announcement was made on Wednesday by the managing director of Dangote Cement, Ivory Coast, Serge Gbotta, at the Novotel Abidjan-Marcory. Covering an area of 50 hectares, the plant reportedly has a production capacity of 3 million tons of cement per year, making it one of the group's largest facilities outside Nigeria. He said the new cement plant, one of Dangote Cement's largest plants outside Nigeria, represented a strategic investment of 100 billion cefas, underscoring the company's commitment to industrial growth and regional self-sufficiency. With this, Ivory Coast becomes the 11th African country to host a Dangote Cement production unit, contributing to the group's continental capacity of 55 million tons per year. Moving forward to the foreign scene, US President Donald Trump has said the war is over as he travels to Israel for the release of hostages from Gaza under the ceasefire deal agreed between Israel and Hamas. Speaking on board Air Force One, he said the ceasefire would hold and a board of peace would quickly be set up for Gaza, which he said looked like a demolition site. He also praised the roles of Israel Prime Minister Benjamin Netanyahu and Qatar as one of the mediators. The deadline for Hamas to release all the hostages is still holding in Gaza midday as Trump will travel to Egypt for an international summit aiming to end the war later on Monday. Recalling that the war was triggered by the Hamas-led attacks on southern Israel on 7th October 2023, in which about 1,200 people were killed and 251 people taken hostage. Since then, more than 67,000 Palestinians have been killed by Israel's military response, including more than 18,000 children, says the Hamas-run health ministry. Noting that the ceasefire in Gaza took effect on Friday morning after Israel and Hamas agreed to the first phase of the 20-point peace plan brokered by Trump, with the next phases still to be negotiated. 20 of the Israeli hostages are believed to be alive, and Hamas is also due to hand over the remains of up to 28 deceased hostages. Finally, on the world of sports, Manchester United are preparing to launch a £60 million bid for Crystal Palace star Adam Wharton, but they have work to do in convincing him to move to Old Trafford. According to recent developments, United are prioritizing strengthening their midfield options in the next two transfer windows. Wharton, at 21, figures highly on the Red Devils shortlist, though other sides such as Liverpool, Manchester City, and Real Madrid are also admirers of his. He has played an instrumental role in Palace's recent success, including their recent 19-game unbeaten run, which was ended by Everton last weekend. That included them winning the FA Cup and Community Shield. Meanwhile, United boss Amorim has personally kept close tabs on Wharton's progress and has become a huge fan of the midfielder. Additionally, Amorim believes Wharton has the technical abilities to be a huge success at United, and the Red Devils board seem ready to back him with funds to spend on the Palace star. Also, United are confident that a bid for £60 million would be enough to lure Wharton from Selhurst Park, though a move is more likely next summer than in January, amid the uncertainty over the futures of Kobbie Mainoo and Casemiro. However, Wharton is contracted with Palace until 2029, which puts them in a strong negotiating position, which makes signing him mid-season very difficult. Now to end the news recap on our headlines. Delta APC canvasses sole candidacy for Tinubu and Oborevwori ahead of 2027 re-elections. ASU rejects federal government's proposal and begins 2-week strike today. Trump says war is over in Gaza as he flies to Israel for release of hostages. On sports, Man United prepares to launch £60 million bid for FA Cup winner. That ends the news from Mayor Kings TV, as read and edited by Tiniela Emanuela. Thanks for watching.